Well, delighted to be in the company of Ricky Hatton, and a happy Ricky Hatton, and a fit Ricky Hatton, and a Ricky Hatton who's about to fight again after 3.5 years. So welcome back, Ricky. Where have you been?
I've been in a very dark and horrible place, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, 1 minute I was, forgive me for saying, a bit of a national treasure, everyone was so proud of, to then obviously being knocked out by Manny Pacquiao in 2 rounds, which was very, very embarrassing for me. I struggled to cope with it, and then consequently from suffering with depression and suicidal thoughts, and just you know, hit the lowest of the low, hit rock bottom. Bit by bit, you know, you've got to, you know, life kicks you backside, and you've got to scrub yourself up, get up, scrub yourself down, and I went into the promoting, and I'm now going into the training, and now I'm back making a comeback, and just being sat here to actually talk about a comeback and be in a position to actually put them gloves on again is a win already, but I've not even stepped in the ring yet.
Well, I must admit, Ricky, that the stage that you got yourself in, as you say, through primarily depression, and then all the offshoots from depression, the booze and everything else, you know, you would have been a brave man to have said that you'd be back lean, hungry, motivated, and about to fight a former world champion as well.
I mean, everybody turns around and says, well, Ricky, how are you going to fight Amir Khan? How are you going to fight Kell Brook? How are you going to fight Malignaggi? How are you going to fight Mayweather? And I'm like, you know, it's not about that. Of course, I want to come back to be a world champion. Of course I do. But I mean, it's worth more than any boxing match or any world title. You know, I feel like I've let the public down. I've let my family down. I've let my community, my hometown of Manchester, British sport, British boxing. And people say, well, Ricky, you're doing yourself a disjustice there. You know, don't be too harsh on yourself. You got beat by Mayweather and Pacquiao, and you've won world titles, and you had all them fans. You know, but you don't have to live with this fella that sits on my shoulder every week telling me, you know, how I've let myself down and let all them people have just mentioned down, really, and I won't be happy until I've got rid of him, you know, because it's a ghost and a demon that has haunted me. I feel like I've become a failure, and I want to redeem myself again. So it's not just a boxing match for me, it's more than that.
Well, people listening to this will say you've been really hard on yourself, Ricky, and okay, you lost, but it was against Pacquiao. But the problem is, the problems began before that, didn't they? And you now know that you weren't in the right state physically or mentally to do yourself justice, which you needed to do against such a great fighter.
Well, I think my depression started when I got beat by Mayweather. You know, I got beat by Mayweather and struggled to come to terms with that, but I made a comeback, and it wasn't my best performance at the City of Manchester Stadium, but then consequently I moved trainers, to which it ended up in a court battle with my trainer, and my trainer, who incidentally was my best friend, which was very upsetting. So that, with the Mayweather defeat and falling out with my best mate and going to court with my best mate, and then I beat Malignaggi, I was back up on top of the world again, and then I got beat by Pacquiao, so then I was back down, and then I retired, and then before you know it, depression starts off the size of a 2p piece, but then little things keep happening, and then before you know it, you know, I was in a very dark place and didn't have a clue what I was doing from day to day. And the lowest point was obviously when you're waking up in the morning in bed or on the settee, whether you know, with knives at your wrist. You know, it's frightening to think that I'm starting here today talking about a comeback when that's what it was. And you know, whether I was been on a night's drinking session or whether I was stone cold sober, the knife was out and I wanted to do it. I just didn't have the balls, as they say, to do so.
You can't probably get any lower in life than the situation you've just described. So how have you managed to get back to where you are now? Where were the seeds of that?
Well, I started off with my promoting, getting fighters opportunities, and which gave me a huge thrill. And then I started going in the gym Monday to Friday, training fighters, passing on my knowledge that I've learned. And in doing so, and being in the gym every day, I lost a bit of weight, got a little bit fitter, and then I started doing my own personal training, when I started doing my road work and pads and bag work and stuff like that. And then as I started feeling happier in Ricky Hatton, as I started feeling happy about myself and fitter and losing weight, and I started to get that little itch back, you know, and I started working with Bob Shannon, my current trainer, doing the pads and doing the body belt and doing circuits and everything like that. And then
you're going to become a dad again as well, weren't you?
Yeah, obviously Millie, my little boy, Millie, my little 1-year-old girl who came along, you know, And I looked at her and I thought, I want my kids to be proud of their dad. I don't want them to, people are saying years to come, wow, your dad was a hell of a fighter, but God, did he flush his life away? I want them to say to my kids, your dad was a hell of a fighter. Had a few problems like we all do, but by you come back stronger. I want British sport, British boxing, my family, my community, Manchester, the whole of Britain. I want them all to be proud of me again and not look at me as this joke, which you may not think it, but I think it, and that's all that matters.
Well, you don't think it now, do you? I mean, win or lose, and hopefully it's win. In a sense, you've already won the bigger victory.
No, I've already won. I mean, I'm not a liar. I mean, I want to come back and fight for world titles, but it's worth more than a world title. It's worth more than a boxing match. I just want people to be proud of me again. And if that's win, lose, draw, or whatever, November 24th, the main thing is that just that I'm sat here, people, whether to win, lose, draw, I think people will turn around and say, well, what you've been through, where you've been, what you've been through, fair play to you.
Well, I tell you what, Ricky, you are looking particularly lean, especially 6-7 weeks out from a fight. In the old days, you'd balloon up in between fights, etc. But you're looking mean and lean. I guess this is an example of the new Ricky Hatton, the hungry, motivated.
Well, hindsight is such a wonderful thing, and when I look back now, with an older and wiser head on my shoulders, I think, God, at 24 years of age, losing 2.5 stone, 3 stone for a fight, what on God's earth was I thinking? And one thing's for sure now, it's not just about this 12-week training camp, it's about the rest of my life. It's not just about the rest of my life, it's about if I want to have fights after November 24th, I can't be losing 2.5, 3 stone at 34 years of age. He was bad enough at 24, I can't be doing that at 34, so for the sake of my kids and family and people who love me and people like that, it's going to be a life change, full stop.
And whatever happens, win or lose, one thing's for certain, you won't return to those dark days.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I've been as low as I can go. Anybody who wants to go back to them dark days is an absolute idiot, but no, I feel very, very proud that I've had all them boxing matches and all that success in the ring, and hopefully I'm going to have more successes in the future. But whatever I do in the future fights, no bigger success will be scraping my ass up from where it was, which was rock bottom.
Well, Ricky, on behalf of the whole nation, many congratulations, just for being honest, talking about it, being honest to yourself and getting yourself back. I mean, you've already won, mate. You've already won. And good luck on the 24th.
Thank you.